We're back with the dreaded Buck Williams, one of the premier power forwards in the league. And Buck, the last time we talked to you, it was in the studio. You were with the Nets, and 3 years out of the playoffs, you get traded, and bang, you're in Portland, and you're in the finals. How about that?
Yes, it's a great feeling. As I said earlier, so NBA basketball is all about. Last year, I won 26 games in New Jersey. Portland wins 39 games. This year, we play in the NBA Finals.
Are you going to take credit for all that?
No, I can't take credit for all that, Coach. As you know, we have a lot of good players coming off our bench. Drazen Petrovic and Wayne Cooper, Cliff Robertson, and those guys have been doing all season long. And I was just one of the elements that sort of made the puzzle go.
You know, Buck, I think most people in the league have always had great respect for you, and they understand that you gave this club something that didn't have before. This was a club that was a good team. There's, you know, some great players. They won a lot of games, specifically some years. Couldn't get out of the first round of the playoffs. What, in your mind, do you think you brought to them?
Well, Coach, if you look at what Rick Mahorn brought you guys last year and what James Evans brought over the last 2 years, I think I've done the exact same thing. I think my game really complements Drexler and Porter's. We call them a rebounding, a defensive player with the ability to score around the basket. So what I do out on the floor really is complementary of what other players do, and they just need someone that do those type of things that I do.
The media hype we talked about a little bit earlier is unbelievable. People have no idea. You've got 300-400 people out here, 70 different countries. How's your club handling it?
We handle it quite well. I think everyone in our locker room has been exposed to this kind of exposure at some point in their career. Everyone really is enjoying it. Most of the players from the small schools, such as Kevin Duckworth, Terry Porter, and Jerome Kersey, they're in hog's heaven because they never had this much publicity before. So they really enjoy it. I'm enjoying it after 3 years of not making a playoff appearance. So I'm looking forward to it. This has been the highlight of my career.
You know, a lot of people don't understand Portland. You've only been there for a year, but we've been traveling through there for years. We know what a kind of city it is. It's kind of forgotten up there because of where it is. Tell us a little bit about Portland.
Portland's really a beautiful city. We have a Willamette River that runs right down the smack of Portland almost. We have Mount Hood, which is very scenic when you come in the airport there. And it's such a casual, laid-back sort of town. And most of the players there, such as Lucas, and decided to live there permanently because it's such a fine area to live in. But most importantly, they've done a great job over the years in the community. And Blazer Mania really exists there. And it's been a thrill for me because it's the only professional show in town where you guys have the Detroit Tigers. We don't have any other professional teams, so we really get a lot of coverage there.
You have a plane. You've experienced for the first time this year. We've been doing it for 3 years. You try to express it. It's hard for people to understand what it can mean. It's kind of interesting. The first two teams in the league, really, there are some others that now have, but the first two teams in the league to have planes are the two teams in the final. Tell the audience what you think it does in terms of production, the year, wins, losses.
Well, first of all, Coach, I'd like to say, you know, the Lakers have their own plane now. They win 63 games. You guys have your own plane. You win 59 games, and we have our own plane. We won 59 games. I honestly feel that having a plane really gives you the ability to get to the hotel very quickly to get rest, and also you get a meal on the plane, which you had to be scrounging around in the airport looking to get a good meal, and all those things are taken care of on the plane. And I think also, most importantly, the players really enjoy. You know, they get VCR, watch a lot of the movies that they miss on home box office. So it's really a thrill to bring the team a lot closer together. And most importantly, again, you don't have the delays that you will have flying commercials. So far it's been a godsend for our team, and most of the players really have enjoyed it. I think that's one reason why we're in the finals this year.
Do you think it can lengthen your career?
There is no question about it, but most importantly, I think playing with guys like Jerome Kersey and Kevin Duckworth and Jerome Kersey will lengthen my career more so than the playing will.
The first game, frankly, I think we stole it.
Oh, you're so modest.
I do. Well, Isaiah stole it. We struggled. You guys were pretty much in command. I really don't know what happened, but down the stretch, talk about what happened in the game.
Well, what happened, Coach, you guys are really, your whole team is predicated around your ability to play defense, and coming down the stretch, your team defended our team very well. You forced us out of what we wanted to do offensively. You took us to that second option, and sometimes you have problems when you take a team first option away. You took that first option away from our team, and we had to go to the second or third option. And I thought defensively, you guys played a very fine game. Isaiah Thomas coming in and being an exceptional basketball player he is, took the team on his shoulders and really came out and hit a lot of clutch baskets.
What kind of game do you expect tonight?
I really expect the same kind of game you guys played the last time. You know, Sal and Robin also did a fine job on the glass offensively along with Lambier. And I think tonight we can expect the same kind of game, but hopefully we can execute and play a lot better coming.
We're back with one of the former great players in the NBA, perhaps one of the all-time great nicknames. Earl the Pearl Monroe of the New York Knicks, led the Knicks to an NBA title, played with some great teams there, and used to be a star in the Sunny Hill League in Philadelphia. Oh, yeah. That was when I was just a kid.
Oh, gosh.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Philadelphia. We're Philadelphia Hall of Fame. They inducted Billy Cunningham and some guys that you might know, Guy Rogers and Hal Lear.
Oh, yeah, some great players. You're here to do the color analyst for Mutual Radio. I got to ask, you got an announcer and you got Dick Vitale. I want to know how you ever get any one word in.
Well, if you've ever jumped double Dutch and you know you're always waiting to try and get in, you know the feeling of trying to get a word in edgewise.
Boy, he is tough. Earl, what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm in the music business in New York. I have a record label, and we also manage artists.
You make any money?
Well, we don't make any money. We do this here as another philanthropic adventure.
Who are some of your artists?
Well, we got a kid by the name of Curtis Harrison, a girl by the name of Shirley Slaughter, and a group by the name of the BB&Q Band.
What is the name of your label?
Pretty Pearl, pretty original, huh?
Yeah, really? Got to be a tough business, right?
Oh, it's a tough business, but it's basically an extension of basketball. You know, it's all entertainment. And you get some kids that have a lot of talent, you try and foster that talent. Fortunately, we've been in the position to try and do that lately.
You were in a backcourt with Frazier, correct?
Right.
And who else was in that backcourt?
Well, we had Dick Barnett in that backcourt as well, Dean Memminger, Henry Bibby.
Sure. That was a backcourt that's right up there in the annals of all-time great players, I would say. Agree?
Well, I would think so. You know, I know you're quite familiar with that because you have two great guards and also three with Vinnie Johnson.
Sure. The New York Knicks in those days, Red Holtzman was the coach?
Yes.
Correct? Red was kind of one of my idols. I loved his approach, his demeanor, watched him very carefully. Was a guy who was an outstanding coach, but did not have a big ego, didn't need to stand up. Kind of liked his approach to the whole scene, did a great job for the Knicks.
Well, you know, his philosophy was that we go, we practice, we spend practice telling us about what we're going to do in the game, and in the game we're supposed to execute, and that's what he did.
You know, you watched Isaiah the other night, got into a mode which you understand because you used to do the same thing. A lot of the young people, the older people, some of the older people understand. Younger people may not have seen it. What happens in your mind? Can you express what happens when that happens? Here's a guy that's struggling all game. There's no question. Our whole team is struggling. And I'm looking in his eyes and I don't see it coming. And then bang, it happens right out of the blue.
Well, you have to, first of all, think and see what's happening around you. You see other guys are not doing it. It's a very tough decision because you got to, first of all, decide if, in fact, you're going to try and take over. If you're going to take over, you're going to win and lose what you're taking over. So that's a very tough decision. After he came out from the huddle, he came out, he looked like he had fire in his eyes because he went to the basket the first time he got the ball, and he was determined to make that basket. He made that basket, and that was the role.
Do you believe, when you're in that mode, do you believe that you can make every shot?
Oh, yeah, you got to believe it. I mean, and as you saw, when he was shooting the jump shot, you saw him put the extra little oomph in it, and he knew it was going. And when you get in that rhythm, it's very hard to get out of that.
You know, we were a club, I thought, that we probably stole a game. But when you play a seventh game and then have one day, the emotional part, I think, is the difficult part. Not so much physical is a problem, but the emotional part is how do you get into the next series? And I guess you have been in that same position.
Yeah, it's very tough to, you know, after you played an emotional series like you played against Chicago, but at the same time, when you come back, you hope you have a couple guys who will be in the game and carry the game along until you can get some guys, the rest of the guys, into the game.
What do you look for tonight? You've been around a couple of days and you've seen both clubs a little bit practice. What do you expect tonight?
Well, I expect you all to come out and really, you know, give up a lot of pressure on the ball. One of the problems they had down the stretch is that they really didn't have anybody to take over. And they're going to have that problem again tonight, so they're going to have to try and get out quickly, and if they get out quickly, they're going to have to try and stay on the boards and try and keep y'all off the boards.
Earl, thank you very much for joining us. One of the great players in the league, and good luck in your music business. Get some records out here. This is a big record-buying town, this Detroit. You ought to move out here to Motown.
Well, if I move out here to Motown, I might have to start tap dancing.
Yeah, not only that, maybe you could come back and have a tryout. Can you still play?
No.
You're giving that all up?
I've given it all up. I'm a tennis player now.
Earl, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Coach Earl Monroe appears to be in great shape. He looks like he could still go fill it up.
I tried to get him out of retirement, but wasn't quite ready. I tell you, people who never remember seeing him play, he was an incredibly acrobatic, great guard, much like Isaiah, but even more acrobatic, tremendous offensive player. One of the great players ever to play in the game, Earl the Pearl Monroe.
He had some spinning moves, no doubt about it. Let's get back to tonight's game. Just noticing a stat, you guys are still dominating opponents when you hold them under 100 points. 12 straight playoff victories now.
Well, that's what we have to do. It's hard for us to score some nights, and that's kind of our mindset. And if we can keep it under control, I keep looking at the clock, third quarter, to see where the score is, because I know if we're in that area, we've got a very good chance to win the game. And it's a lot contributes to the defense. It's not, you know, if you took our guys individually, they might not be so great defensively, but as a team, they understand the team defensive concept. We're willing to work at it because it's a work ethic. And then, of course, the defensive rebounding. Don't give up second shots. You're not going to lose.
As you said, some nights the scoring production is not there. Recently, Benny and Buddha have had some terrible shooting slumps. How concerned are you about that?
Well, I'm concerned, but, you know, I go through a game. A guy has a bad shooting night. 12 o'clock comes, Cinderella time. It's history. Next day, bring them out, same time. Let's see what they can do. Start Jimmy, bring Vinny in at his appropriate time, and hope he comes through. And I think they will come through in certain games.
Earlier today, I was out here asking you, Rick Adelman, players on both sides, who is feeling most of the pressure tonight? Who's the burden upon tonight?
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure on us to win at home. There's any question about that, particularly with this format, going 3 games out there where we haven't won. But by the same token, which I mentioned earlier, if they lose tonight, they've got to win 4 out of 5, and that's a major accomplishment against our particular club.
Some of the people in the audience might wonder, how are you getting to Portland? Is round ball 1 back to tip-top shape now?
Yeah, round ball 1 is back. I understand, you know, we had to charter a flight. That was about $25,000. The actual dent in the aircraft or whatever happened was another $30,000-$40,000. It was expensive fueling, and but it is ready as I understand it. Hopefully we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
All right, you'll be ready to go in first class. Let's hope you go with 2 victories under your belt.
We need to do exactly that.
All right, a full house tonight at the Palace. The usual more than 21,000 will be here. Wish you could, but since you can't, stay tuned to the game here on TV2 and enjoy it. And we'll see you from Portland prior to the Pistons game on Sunday against the Trail Blazers. Hopefully we'll be up 2-0. Have a good one. Enjoy the game here on TV2. Some of the guests on Chuck Daly's One-on-One will receive gifts from Auto One Accessories and Glass, your #1 at Auto One. A gift from Kenwood. Only one manufacturer can offer you the quality and performance of true audio components in a complete system, and do it for under $1,000. Kenwood. Dining at Lely's Inn, perfect for your pregame or pre-concert dinner. And apparel from Cousins Clothes and Cousins Big and Tall, where fit is foremost.